In the studio, it is Lynn Fitch, Mississippi Attorney General. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning. Great to be with you.
It's good to have you, and I know you're busy. We got very little time. I do want to thank you for your response on what Facebook did to us. They've done to a lot of other people, and it was just ridiculous to even have to defend this, pulling us off because we retweeted something about vaccinations.
It's unbelievable. Here, these big tech companies, they come in and they can censor, they can take off information just because they can, which is just unbelievable that they have that type of authority to jump in and to determine we don't like your thoughts. It's a philosophical, and we choose to do that because we are powerful. And, you think about it, you got to understand that these are a small group of people. These are unelected. Yeah. This is a private group, board of directors, whatever the case might be. And they choose to come in and censor and take away your First Amendment rights.
I do believe that had Trump won, we were going to take care of this, and they knew that as far as Google and all of these with, Section 252 or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, Section 230 of the Decency Act.
Putting more responsibility on them, and that's not going to, I doubt very seriously if that'll happen now.
Well, we're going to continue to push for it because it is so unjustly, it's unfair to every American to think that you can come in and you can censor, you can make a decision on how you think people ought to believe, act, behave, take away their rights of freedom of speech. And that's exactly what they're doing, Paul. I
got to wonder, within the confines of the rules and regulations of the state under your purview as Mississippi Attorney General and also the Public Service Commission, is there some violation of that would cause a fine?
That's a great question. We're going to continue to be looking with that along with other states. I'm working with a number of certainly the other attorneys general across our country on how we can go after these companies. And then what can we do specifically? There are a number of states that have jumped in and are filing some state legislation to go forward to move against these companies, to create some type of fine, a violation. Most recently, Florida has introduced some legislation along those lines. So, yes, you're seeing states rise up and say, no more. You're not allowed to do this and take advantage and determine what our first rights, our First Amendment rights are.
Are we going to do the same thing? Could you mirror what's going on in Florida?
Well, we're going to certainly take a look at that. I think it's key. That is just now percolating across the country.
All right, topic number 2, before we have to let you go here, topic number 2 is the Secretary of State, Michael Watson, the municipalities and the opinion that you issued. You want to speak to that?
Sure, absolutely. So that opinion just recently came out. That has been on the books now for a little bit, but no one had asked for an official opinion. And
who was that asked for it?
I believe that was Oktibbeha County or Northern, one of those municipalities, but the Secretary of State had never asked for an opinion. And, we always put out our information. If we get a request, we'll say, this is not an official opinion, and we just received that. So we're hoping to clarify that. And so it's been, I think, very helpful. There've not been too many instances where there've been an issue, but certainly once we received it, we moved forward so we could get that information out to clarify.
Where does that stand now as far as, is there a lawsuit on that, or is there another clarification that comes, or will it have to go to the Supreme Court, or what happens?
So no further lawsuits to my knowledge. We've not received any notifications of any additional lawsuits along those lines. But, the Attorney General's opinion is strictly that it's an opinion. It is a guiding factor. It is not law. It certainly would help in court, but it is not a rule of law in that regard.
Do we know why he filed that, or why he asked for that opinion?
Well, a municipality did. We never received an official opinion request from the Secretary of State. So these are guiding opinions, and again, certainly not upheld as law.
Do you have any idea how many people this is going to affect or has affected?
I think less than 4.
Oh, is that right?
So it's not that we know of. Yes.
Any of those incumbents?
Not that I know of. I don't have the particular list of people that might be involved, but certainly all we're trying to do is clarify. set the guidelines and help along the line.
Is there something that the legislature now in session can take care of at this late date? Is that a possibility?
Absolutely, Paul. Anytime there's when you have an opinion request, that is certainly an option for the legislature to step in and provide some clarifying language. And in this instance, they very well could, which would be very beneficial.
Safer Internet Day, when is that?
Now it's a great time to really talk about safer internet. We really have got to be engaged with that, Paul. Look across our country. Look at what's happening. We have got to be empowering. We've got to understand the internet, the cyber, and really jump in and protect our children, help them parental controls. Safer cyber is so key to have as we move forward. Look at the egregious acts, particularly our child exploitation, how they leverage and prey on our young people, which then pivots right on into further child exploitation, human trafficking, child porn. And then also in the bigger scheme, we got to be looking for safer cyber on everything. Right now there's a lot of idle time. People are going after individuals, companies, phishing, getting their personal information, and so we got to be on alert on every front in this regard.
And the former Attorney General did, I think, one of the best things that he did was the crime as far as pedophiles and things such as that on this. Has that same software existed? Is it being modernized? Are we still up to speed on that?
That's a great question. We are working very diligently. In fact, we've been enhancing. The team is very strong. We've added people to the team. We've added tools and resources. And the scary thing is it's happening every day across our country and in our state. And we're going after these bad actors, Paul. We're not allowing them to continue this, and we're sending a strong message. We will not accept this type of child exploitation in the state of Mississippi.
I saw something in the show prep yesterday or day before that the possibility of, as far as the child sexual slavery and all of this stuff, human trafficking is going to increase probably exponentially in the southern states because of the border and the rules and regulations being put forth by the Biden administration. So that could possibly increase. And it was going to affect states like Mississippi and Alabama and Florida, et cetera, Texas, et cetera.
Well, and that's such a big item where they're moving people across the country. And to your point, Paul, there are over 40 million people across the globe that are held in slavery right now. It's the largest illegal business behind illegal gun sales at $150 billion a year.
It's amazing.
And it's happening here. Yeah. If certainly y'all are doing an awesome job of reporting on human trafficking because it's an awareness. The more that we can talk about it, the outreach, but we have it happening in our state. And so we all have to be on alert. We have to be prepared. We have to call the national hotline, call our office, because those tips help us tremendously go after these bad predators.
I always ask because in almost every agency, one way or the other, the monumental change in Mississippi of allowing medical marijuana, it does in some way affect just about every agency. And I was wondering, how do you prepare for that as far as the AG is concerned?
Well, it will be very impactful to all state agencies. Certainly, we provide legal counsel to the Department of Health. They'll be implementing rules and regulations, which will be key to the strategy on how it's implemented, how it affects people across the state, what are the restrictions that will be coming out, in the next several months. We do know anytime that there's a monumental change like that, it will affect all Mississippians. We just have to be prepared.
I know. I wonder, in your agency, with some litigation taking a long time to lay the groundwork and all of the stuff that you have to do, is that change in Washington disrupt that in some cases? With the liaison, like people like Mike Hurst leaving, or all the changes that take place, does it disrupt or slow those long-term investigations down or court suits down?
Well, certainly in cases where you have key partners on a federal level, and as you change out your important critical players and the teamwork, it can be a hindrance. We will continue to work with the new partners that come on board because, again, the ultimate goal is what's the solution? How are we driving to answer the question, to solve the case, to get the case in front of a judge? So we'll move forward and work very diligently to do that with our upcoming new partners.
Any bills we need to look at that affects the Attorney General's office moving through?
We've got a number of bills that are very important to the office. Revenge porn is coming through.
Right.
Again, very key. Getting warrants so that we can go after these bad predators and child exploitation digitally is going to be very important. And a number of just good resource capabilities for the AG's office are moving through, and we're very appreciative.
These in Judd A and B? In both House and Senate?
Mostly in Judd A, yes.
But Judd A. Always good seeing you.
Great to see you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for continuing to move, and let's have the conversation on this censorship.
You got it. And thank
overreach.
you for your response and your proactivity and being proactive on it, too. We appreciate that. Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch. We got more.